The ACC has 4 teams trying to vie for a spot in the Elite Eight. It will be a very interesting weekend for your favorite conference. If you listen to the whole kit and caboodle, you'll have 4 games with all the keys to victory here at Locked On ACC.
You are Locked On ACC, your daily podcast on the Atlantic Coast Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's edition of Locked On ACC. I'm your host, Candace Cooper, joined by Kenton Gibbs of Locked On Wolfpack. Each and every day, you can find us wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure you download, subscribe to the pod from anywhere, but especially our YouTube page where you can interact with our community each and every day. Today's episode is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Are you the kind of driver that likes to push things a little further? Ever wonder what adventure could be around the next corner? Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada. Go find your next big adventure. Check them all out today at nissanusa.com. Kenton and I have a fun-filled show of some keys to victory for our favorites. We promised Miss Carla we would give you this episode, so here it is. 4 teams vying for an opportunity to be in the Elite Eight and hopefully get to the Final Four, be the top 2 teams, and eventually win a national championship, but they're going to have a couple hurdles in their way to do so. So let's get into it. Thursday matchups are locked and loaded and ready to go. Alabama will face off against a number 1 seeded North Carolina team in LA on CBS at 9:30, if I can stay up long enough, okay? And it will be a good one. These teams have faced off before. North Carolina's feeling good about themselves, had a really good start to their tourney, got shaken and rattled a little bit against Michigan State, but now have a good test against a decent Alabama team. Kenton, let's talk keys to victory first, maybe for North Carolina.
Yeah, sure. So the thing that the Tar Heels need to do more than anything else, they need to allow, or actually their stars need to be stars in this game at a higher level than we've seen before. And why am I saying that? Well, long story short, normally when I talk about this UNC team, I talk about what? Go, go, go. And when you're going, you'll be able to kind of make sure that these teams can't compete with you in terms of your stars doing what they do. However, Alabama goes faster than them. Alabama is a NASCAR. They are up and down, guru of go style. Every time they pull it out the net, they're pushing. And so with that being said, the only way that North Carolina can win this game to me is if their stars truly do show up and shine in a very big way. And also the depth has to come along with them. And I know that sounds very generic, but if you think about it from the standpoint of Alabama does it with pace, space, shooting. That's their 3 big things more than anything else. Alabama's not known for a ton of defensive intensity. They're not known for absolutely shutting teams down or anything along those lines. What they are known for is, again, go, go, go. So with that in mind, if you have a Seth Trimble come along and have an excellent game defensively, if you have a Harrison Ingram go and attack the boards ferociously when they go in those small lineups and just dominates them on the glass, you're going to be looking at a very favorable outcome for the Heels.
You know, I also think it's going to need to be a really strong defensive performance from North Carolina with, speed in a track meet scenario. There are oftentimes abilities to make mistakes, turn that ball over, and North Carolina's going to have to not only cause those frustrating moments for Alabama, but score and capitalize off said moments. I think to your point, Harrison Ingram, Cormac Ryan, Seth Trimble, Elliot Cadeau is going to have confidence. The whole wide open in space, study long, study wrong energy, cut it. Shoot the ball. You know how to shoot. You play basketball. Whether you're getting into the hoop or whether you have to shoot that long 3, I hope he has confidence in this Thursday evening to just go ahead and shoot and force these guys to also defend you as well. Will it need to be an RJ 40-point performance? Hope not, but might be. Do you need to keep feeding Armando Bacot? Hope not, but might be. So to me, blood on the line, this is it, and this is for all. I think this North Carolina team has the better players, but they're going to have to show me something.
Yeah, and I agree with that assessment. And again, I think that Bama has more depth, but UNC has better players, period. Like that's something that I would not, argue against any day of the week. And I think that Cormac Ryan and that shooting is also going to be an important one in this game. How are you spacing them out? It's going to be another one of those things. It's like, how do you get this done? It's going to matter a lot in terms of the result in this one, because we all know we say the NBA is a make or miss league. Well, what do you think March is? You don't get no redos. This ain't the best of 7 series. This is 100%. One and done. So, knocking down that 3 ball is going to mean a lot as well.
Exactly. And I think it's just one of those scenarios where if it feels like Carolina is hot and on fire, they are going to be the best team on the floor by a mile. But if it has to play close, it'll be interesting how they balance that track meet, because sometimes their shot selection and their offense doesn't always get them over that hump. Yeah. When it's all said and done, who do you feel like comes out with the victory?
I feel like UNC takes this one. I feel like I'm not really worried about the Hills' ability to get a win here. Again, the only way I can see this going poorly for UNC is if Bama runs them off the court. If Bama runs them out the building, hey, it is what it is. You got to live with that. But as I see it, I see UNC being able to impose their will enough and their stars to show up and star enough for them to be able to head back to the Elite Eight.
No doubt. Hold on one second. You having good positive vibes from North Carolina has me slightly nervous, right? Because whenever you're high on them, they tend to cut up. So I'm just putting that out there.
I disagree. Most of the time when I'm high on North Carolina, it's such an undeniable victory that it ain't gonna be close. They've disappointed me a few times when I believed in them, but that's what you get for believing in the Tar Heel. Yeah, what can you say?
Well, shout out to the homie Drake May who had his pro day today. Hopefully, all the hoopla and the nastiness that's come his way will subside. Hey, I don't know what it is, but at the end of the day, that man's finna make himself some millions.
I don't think that any of the first, 27 teams or so should take him. He's risky. What's he won? I don't know. I don't think he's that type of guy. If he were to last exactly to the 28th pick, that'd be where I think he should go. I think drafting him before then, a little bit of a reach before the 28th.
The Lions?
Yes, the Lions do have the 28th pick.
You would like to draft? You want him to come to the Lions?
Oh, absolutely. If the Lions could get, no, he's a horrible quarterback, and all the other GMs need to beware. He can't handle pressure. Hasn't won the big game. That Drake May kid.
Fair enough. All right, moving back to basketball. Clemson, Arizona. Arizona being a team that has had an up and down year at times, but been mainly for the most part consistent, being led by Caleb Love, former North Carolina Tar Heel himself. Clemson being a team that we all knew they've had it in them. They've come up short in important moments. People said they were very much on the bubble, but squeaked in, but they've shown, they've proven, so far in this March Madness series. And now they have a tall task in front of them. But as you maybe have mentioned before, PJ Hall and the boys are more than enough and well equipped to get this done. How do they beat Arizona?
Turn them over. The Caleb Love effect has spread throughout this team. They get a little careless with the ball sometimes, and you have to be able to take advantage of that. They are below, I want to say they're like 109th or 10th in the nation in turnovers. Turn them over. Get yourself some pick sixes. Get to going the other way. That is the way that PJ Hall and company come away with an upset. And Brownell is going to tell them that. I know he's telling them that. I know he is. So this team, if they can turn Arizona over, and if they can keep this thing close down the stretch, they've got a guy over there at Arizona. He's going to chuck it. I don't care what's going on. He's going to chuck it. His inner Mamba mentality never turns off that guy, former ACC guy over there. He's going to let it fly. So with that in mind, Clemson, turn them over. Keep it close late. You'll be just fine.
Now, one thing I feel like Brownell is really good at, probably one of the best coaches in college basketball. I think his second half adjustments at times can be very much, if he had sometimes a more pros or, better talent on the team, it would be, undefeated type program. But he is so good with precision and making that other team like always be on its heels. And I think for Clemson, that's how it's going to need to be after you have, of course, an emotional first half, as everyone tends to do in these type of tournaments. How do you adjust in the second half and either keep a team at bay, or you make sure that you come back or keep the game close and ultimately come out with the victory? For PJ Hall, Joe Girard, I think he's going to have a strong shooting night. I think Hunter is going to have to be one of those quiet, silent assassins. And I also think, Shefflin's going to have a great game in order for PJ to not feel the pressure of doing it all himself.
Yeah, for sure. And at the end of the day, yes, turning them over is good, but you're also going to have to generate some points. You're also, Arizona, when they can get in their set defense, they're not bad at it. They're not bad at it at all. They are not bad at defending. So you need to find ways to generate offense in the half court as well, because, as a fan of a team that, used to live and die by whether or not they could turn you over, counting on that and just that is not a good strategy. You still need to be able to get stops, stay in front of folks, make it difficult, make people take contested shots in the half court as well.
Agree completely. So when it's all said and done, how do we feel like Clemson fares in this matchup?
I think Clemson upsets Arizona. I got the ACC running the table so far, or at least on that side of the bracket, for an all ACC matchup in Clemson and UNC to go to the Final Four.
Love to hear it. All right, this week's March Madness bracket is brought to you by our friends at Nissan. Each week, we're picking one team that stands out, a team that's pushing further than the rest, just like any of the all-new 2024 Nissan SUVs. These guys were able to make it to the next level. The Iowa State Cyclones can be described as a pathfinder. They've been thrilling to watch and have really created a lane for themselves, entering the tournament as one of the hottest teams in the country. They have a date with Illinois this Thursday in the Sweet 16 happening tonight. Take the Nissan Rogue, Nissan Pathfinder, or Nissan Armada and go find your next big adventure. Shop NissanUSA.com. And once you're done there, let's make sure that you've got all of your money squared away with our friends at Better Together. Now, through Better Together, you're always able to bet with your friends. And if your bracket is busted but wants to stay in the game, Better Together gives you the first cooperative daily fantasy platform where teamwork triumphs talent and you can play with your friends and not against them. Pick more or less on real-time player stats, strategize with your partner to boost your odds, and climb the leaderboard together. Grab a friend and join the DFS movement today. Better Together is the first cooperative daily fantasy application. Better Together provides a sense of camaraderie and enhances the social experience of watching sports. It is a way to stay connected with friends when you can't watch sports together in person, and put your group chat to the test and lets you prove yours is the best. Download the Better Together app now from the App Store and sign up using promo code LOCKEDON for a chance to win your share of over $1,000 in cash prizes. Play with me in a contest on either Thursday, Friday, or Saturday, Sunday of this week. Remember, using code LOCKEDON because winning alone is fun, but it's always better together. All right, Kenton, that's the Thursday matchups. Friday, Duke takes on number 1 Houston. And let's just sit here and say that a Houston team that played a very emotional game, to start their March Madness journey, but were able to pull out the victory. Duke maybe had a shaky start, but was able to get it together in a big way against James Madison. Now it feels like this close Houston -4.5 doesn't feel as secure as maybe in recent years. But what does Duke need to do in order to beat the Cougars?
All right, hear me out. Crier and Shed, when they get downhill, when you let them attack, it's going to get ugly. It's going to get ugly quick. If you look at almost all of Houston's losses this year, teams have forced those two to not, when their shot chart looks like a bunch of grapes at the rim, looks like the ones that you eat out the store, you just take a couple, and next thing you know, you're like, I'm just saying some people do that, not me personally. I'm not a great guy, but that's neither here nor there.
Blow on them, that's gross. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, again, I'm not a great guy, but some people, if their shot chart looks like a pack of grapes, congratulations to Houston for moving on to the Elite Eight. But if McCain and Proctor and Roach can stay in front of those guys and make it difficult for them, if Filipowski can make it difficult for them at the rim, I believe Mitchell is the center. If he makes it difficult for them at the rim, they'll be just fine. But if they got a lot of those little grapes up at the rim, Sampson and company are moving on. That is what I feel like they need more than anything else. And also, and I mean this with everything in my heart and soul, your guards have to make good decisions with the ball. We know that Houston's going to blitz every pick they see on ball. Make them pay. If you can't, if they blitz it and you turn it over, or you are taking ill-advised shots out of that, congratulations again to Houston. They're going to move forward. But if the guards from Duke can keep their composure, can keep their heads about them, can keep their wits about them, and make it happen, they'll be just fine.
No doubt about it. I think that Duke is probably the hottest team out of all in March Madness. The confidence is at an all-time high. Jarrett McCain. If that man gets busy, it is good night for everybody involved. I think he is going to have another strong shooting performance. I think if you are Tyrese Proctor, you feel off that energy, but it's going to be Kyle Filipowski as well as a big man to not necessarily force yourself to take outside shots if they're not there or you feel like you have to. But I think if you just play your position, get some jump shots in, but get to that rim, like make sure that you have those offensive rebounds to give your team a chance to score again. If you have Mark Mitchell in there doing his best to be that browser, to be that guy who can allow his team for second chance opportunities, I think Duke will be in a very good position to win.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I think Mitchell is going to have, he may not need to have a statistically huge game, but he needs to alter shots at the rim. He needs to make it difficult on those guards when his guards do. Because at the end of the day, you and I sitting here not having to be on the court in guard Cryer and Shedd and company, we can say, just stay in front of them. It's a whole different ball game when you're on that court and you see them dribbling downhill towards you. So, you're absolutely right that those bigs are going to have big games in terms of Filipowski and Mitchell.
No doubt. All right, let's turn our heads to NC State and Marquette. And I feel like this is probably the most March Madness-y game you have possible because the odds are definitely stacked against NC State, an 11 seed facing off against a 2 seed. All intents and purposes, we know that Marquette is probably probably the better team on paper, but the heart of NC State, DJ Burns and company, and Mr. O'Connell himself, there's a reason why NC State is still here, right? There's a reason why, despite all things being stacked against them, they're still here. I don't necessarily think it is a blowaway game for Marquette. It'll be a close one per usual, as NC State loves to do it. But how does NC State maintain composure and get to the next level and get this victory?
So I'm going to give you two things here. I'm going to give you one on the court and one off the court. You have to be able to handle those inverted screens and pick and rolls from Marquette. That's something NC State. It's not, if they don't do it, they'll still have a decent. No, if they don't do that, it's going to be a long Friday. And I mean a longer Friday than when you got to work on the weekends too. I'm talking that long, okay? Mm-hmm. So they need to do that. Their bigs have to step up and be able to handle that action. And they have to be connected and talking defensively as a team to not allow those to not get distracted and lose your scouting report and forget which guy is who, which guy is the pick and pop guy, which guy is the roll guy, which one's the hard dive guy, which one's the slip guy. You have to be aware of those things. And the off the court thing, embrace the history. Mm-hmm. Embrace the history. Let me let you in on some parallels to a certain team from NC State from a little while back.
Please.
Both coaches came into the tournament never having an NCAA tournament win at NC State. Both coaches were in years where people were like, all right, they probably need to show improve or they're going to be on the outs here. Both coaches needed overtime in the semifinals of the ACC tournament in order to get it done. Both coaches saw the benefit of a double-seeded team or a double-digit seed defeating a single-digit seed that they went on to beat in their run, being Utah, 10-seeded Utah beating number 2 UCLA back in 83, 14-seeded Oakland beating number 3 Kentucky in 2024. Embrace the history. NC State's first national championship came in a win over Marquette. Embrace it. You ain't lost since Jimmy V's birthday. Know that the ancestors are walking with you, baby. Embrace it. Live in the moment. Don't let this moment get too big for you. At the end of the day, regardless of how big everybody says Marquette's britches are, We have seen them lose games. We have seen them get dominated by UConn. We have seen that team absolutely wet the bed in important moments. And you all have one of, if not the longest winning streak of all the double-digit seeded teams in the tournament. Embrace it. Walk in who you are. Go win yourself a national championship, or at least get to the Elite Eight with a win here.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but them winning would get them against Houston.
Houston, the winner of Duke Houston.
Yes. Okay. And the idea of having to face a Houston team, historically, for what that means for NC State, I think that could also be, you can't write it better. The script writers definitely have something going on for NC State. And I think it's just going to be a very magical time should they, go through. They also are very much capable of beating a Duke team. It's almost like beating your brother in your backyard. It's not the same sort of intensity. Yes, stakes can, implications of what that win will mean as you move on in the tournament, but you might, breathe a little easier knowing you've seen that program before. But say all that to say, I'm confident in an upset. I don't see why not. It's helped them so far.
I'm going to tell you this much, okay? I've been telling NC State fans this, and I'm going to tell any ACC fan rooting for NC State this. Expect nothing, appreciate everything, okay?
100%.
Expect nothing, appreciate if it's a close game, appreciate if it's a good game, appreciate if NC State does great here, because the law of the wolf says the more you expect, the less you get. They were trailing at halftime to Louisville, a team whose coach is now somewhere chilling on the beach with a nice little buyout, okay?
That's fair.
They were trailing at halftime. And now what is it? Say about 12 days later, we're sitting up here saying, them boys going to the Sweet 16. Ain't it like that? Look at that.
Yeah. A little mint chocolate chip certainly never hurt anybody. Coach Keats, hopefully you get some, but good or not, I think what they have done for Coach Keats, what they have done for NC State's program, and the way the transfer portal starts to cook up now, like you've definitely put NC State basketball back on the map. So this is an historic team, but there's still more to do for sure. So I hear you there. All right, let's talk about our friends at Fire TV. We all know that there's a place to watch games, and we want to make sure that you guys are well equipped to do just that. Fire TV is your destination for sports, from live games to highlights to in-depth analysis. Fire TV offers amazing viewing experiences with smart TVs, as well as the Fire Stick that you can plug into your existing TV that provides access to millions of movies and TV episodes, as well as free and live TV. Whether it's opening weekend for baseball or college basketball, you're going to want to have a Fire TV. To learn more, go to amazon.com/lockedonfiretv today. If you haven't checked out Fire TV and all of its great channels, it's so good. Trust me on this. All right. We're giving you the breakdown for the men. The women's games will come up as well. I think there's some great matchups, so make sure you check that out. But we got 8 minutes to talk, 7 minutes, if you will. And this has been a long time coming, but we'd rather just get it out and rip that Band-Aid for those who have stuck around towards the end of this episode. This will be my final episode with Locked On ACC. It is not without heavy decision or did not come to this lightly, but, at the end of the day, there are other opportunities that I need to pursue personally, career-wise, that I just felt like I can't give Locked On ACC the love and attention that it deserves. And I think I might get a little choked up. I don't know, because this is my community. Started with Locked On Tar Heels, and it's been a great ride. And I am very sad to go. However, I know that Kenton has this thing in great hands. He will be joined by Locked On Canes, Miami Hurricanes host Alex Dono, and I think those two are probably the best I could have asked to succeed me in this mission to ride with the ship that is ACC. However long we have it, I'm very grateful that it is, and I'm kind of feeling like I'm getting out while the getting's good, before Jimmy P can, give us our pink slips and all that good stuff. But in all seriousness, I am thoroughly sad to go, but happy that I have had these opportunities to talk with you guys each and every day.
Being Candace's co-host, because she was the one who basically did the politicking to get me on the show. And by the way, I want nobody starting no rumors about why Candace is leaving. Okay, she just told you she's pursuing opportunities and didn't think that she could give this thing the love that it needs. But more importantly, Candace ain't the only one that's getting emotional here. Candace and I just show it very differently, and this brings me to the Winnie the Pooh quote of they said, "Aren't you sad that it's over, that we got to say goodbye?" And Winnie said, "What a thing we've done that it hurts and is sad to say goodbye to," And so we're not saying goodbye to Locked On ACC forever. I have word from some very close sources that Candace very well may be making some appearances this fall, particularly if Max Johnson and company are doing good things out there in Chapel Hill.
Our check and jive bet is very much on the line, so I will be coming back to collect when our Louisville quarterback collects on his stats. So don't worry about it.
Oh, listen! All I know is you better not put no vegetables on that Baconator. Eat that thing as God intended, with nothing but patties, sauce, and bacon. That's what I need to see.
Right.
But this is I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be here, and we're going to keep this thing going. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
Absolutely.
It's been the pleasure and honor of a lifetime having the ability to be your co-host and being the seat 2 guy to what truly one of the best in the business. In you, Candace. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. I would give you your flowers, but I will actually ugly cry. So I'm going to do that off when the cameras are off. But for all those who know Kenton, and they know that he is on his way to big things, and I look forward to saying that I was the one who cut him off on all the episodes. I look forward to telling people that I was one of his first co-hosts when he is on that SportsCenter stage. I look forward to saying this little podcast, little engine that could, was here. And thank you for believing in me and just having the opportunity to work with you. It's been great.
Yeah.
Damn.
For sure.
Damn.
For sure. I see.
I'm just a girl.
See, Candace is better than me because I said that she should have did a full month long, I said I didn't care if it was March Madness. You need to do a full month long. What's that? What's exit tour?
Retirement tour.
Retirement tour. Yeah, where we bring on all these different hosts and they're like, hey, it's been great. We've loved having
absolutely
you.
not.
But Candace,
I didn't need people to lie in my face like that. Yeah, I'm good. I'm great.
Well, we've had enough. We've had enough guests and co-hosts who would love to vouch for you. I'm just saying.
Just for the record, I don't cry like that. It's that time of the month, so I'm just gonna be. We're family here now. So if you think that I'm a crybaby, that's fine. Your mama. And I'm really gonna miss just the fans and being able to talk junk to y'all. I couldn't go out any other way, but in all seriousness, it has been so fun. I am going to miss this. I'm going to be supporting this from afar, downloading my episodes. I've subscribed to the channel. I'm going to engage in the community. I can't wait to put in some comments as my own personal self and talk junk to 2 baldies who are going to, again, ride this thing into some extreme success. When y'all do get y'all 200,000 followers, please have me back. Just put me as a third host for that day. And I would love to talk to Miss Carla, Slam Tana, all the group, all the gang, and we'll just keep that thing going. But for Candace Cooper and Kenton Gibbs, we hope you guys have a great and safe weekend. Please enjoy March Madness. Please get in on the betting action. I know I will. And look forward to seeing Alex and Kenton on Monday as they carry this thing into some great heights.